favorite thing about being a climate activist?
My favorite thing.
My favorite thing about being a climate activist.
I cannot find any activity which makes more sense to me than trying to help to solve the biggest problem we have.
My favorite thing is reaching the poor masses, because our organization, we have been working with the rural areas, and rural areas, communities are the most impacted.
It is that I have the chance to meet a lot of great people from around the world. We have one shared idea and we have common values.
Why did you decide to become a climate activist?
So I used that to get involved because I was seeing what was happening. That was a really issue. Well, I'm also a human rights activist, so I really think that climate justice is part of our fight in human rights fight too.
I realized I actually can do something about it, and it does not have to be this way, and we can change this, and we can make a difference. And if we can make a difference, then we have to.
I got information through the newspapers, and then I got aware that weather conditions are changing more and more, become more extreme. More heavy rainfalls out of a sunny day, for example.
When was the first time you felt like climate change affected you personally?
I guess I felt like it would affect the whole world when I was like 7 years old or something and watched The Inconvenient Truth, the film from Al Gore.
Actually speaking, in our hometown, fall used to be 1 foot high. Sometime later, the snowfall almost stopped in that place.
I have seen one place, there was a river, literally it was green, everything was well. There was lots of birds, but then this place was with anything, only sand and 1 week line of water.
What would make you stop being a climate activist?
Either complete despair, the feeling that it's become senseless to be a climate activist anymore, and the feeling as well to get burned out like many of us.
I don't think now there is any way I should stop, because there is no way it is going to be, the climate change is going to be controlled. The way the things are going, some countries are making net zero target to 2060, some 2070. So I am sure that we have to work, we don't have to stop now.
And how hopeful about the future are you?
I'm actually not very hopeful.
Actually,
my parents keep saying that we won't be the generation who will still feel the effects of climate crisis, but I'm pretty sure that we all will, and the states being this self-centric and with this kind of very nationalistic thinking will be able to combat the crisis.
It's like a mix of feelings. From one part, I have a lot of hope in young people. I have a lot of hope in my generation, in youngest one. We are up for the challenge, and we are really trying to change things, and that gave me the hope that I need to continue doing activism.
What's the worst thing about being a climate activist?
Too much work, too little time.
it is the risks in some of the areas, places and countries.
If you could give one piece of advice for the next generation, what would it be?
Engage in the biggest problem we have, and try to be part of the solution instead of being part of the problem.
Definitely think of the next generation coming after them, and now what we have created is the path for them.
I will encourage them to take actions, and yes, just to not be afraid to speak up.
What world do you want?
a world again, the world of justice, world of where everybody has equal rights and equal access to energy, equal access to health, equal access to education, and a decent way of life, decent living.
I want a world where everything is interconnected and interconnected in a sense of solidarity.
Maybe a peaceful world and a world where human rights, peace and inclusion are the highest values.
I want a world with climate justice where we don't need to put the next generations in a worse position than the current one, but put the next generation in a better position or an equal position than we have today.
Yeah, like give them the opportunities and that respect the rights, and this phrase that everyone's always say, like, we want a better world.
It's so interesting, like everyone has such a different story and different motivations and fears and hopes and backgrounds, but they all have the same goal. And
it definitely gives us strength because we understand that yes, there are people who are concerned of the vulnerability of the people who are down south, and they will be ready to support because we know the situation is going to be worse in coming years, and we can work together.
I think that there are a lot of common points, but we live in different, we have different backgrounds and circumstances, especially local ones.
I can't even imagine how it would be like to be a policymaker from the Global South being here in Glasgow. I imagine it might feel awfully unfair.